Los Angeles lights were blinding that night, the kind that made every street look like a movie set and every dream feel just one step away. Inside Studio 14 of a famous American talk show, producers rushed around, checking microphones, adjusting cameras, rehearsing cues. It was going to be a big episode, the kind they expected to go viral, because they were bringing on a Filipino robotics student whose invention had quietly started making noise online. His name was Eli Navarro, a 21-year-old engineering scholar from Quezon City. His hair was neatly combed, his bearing was freshly ironed, and his hands were shaking slightly as he held the small device he had built from scrap parts and late-night prayers. He wasn't famous. He wasn't a celebrity. He wasn't even used to crowds. But his project, a compact AI-powered rescue drone designed to navigate collapsed buildings, had already saved 3 children during a landslide in Bicol. The world didn't know him yet, but that night was supposed to change everything. The host of the show, Trevor Lane, was the type of guy America either loved or loved to hate. Loud, sarcastic, always in control, always ready with a joke that pushed boundaries. His style made him a superstar, but it also made him reckless. And unfortunately for him, he thought Eli would be an easy target. As Eli stepped onto the stage, the audience clapped politely. Trevor flashed his signature grin, shook Eli's hand, and leaned toward the camera. "Well, ladies and gentlemen," he said, "tonight we have a brilliant young man from the Philippines, if you can understand him." A few people in the audience chuckled. Not many. Just enough to sting. Eli blinked, unsure if he heard correctly. He had practiced his English every night before this interview. He knew he had an accent, of course he did. Filipinos grew up bilingual, sometimes trilingual. But he spoke clearly, respectfully, and confidently. Trevor wasn't done. "So Eli," he continued, exaggerating the Filipino accent with a mocking smile, "can you tell us about your drone?" Stretching the vowel, adding unnecessary syllables, making the crowd uneasy. Eli's face flushed. He opened his mouth to speak, but before he could, Trevor cut him off again. Hold on, I want the audience at home to understand. Slow it down." He pretended to talk in slow motion, as if Eli couldn't communicate properly. A few more awkward laughs. But most people shifted in their seats. Something about the joke wasn't landing the way Trevor expected. Eli took a silent breath. He remembered his mother's voice, "Anak, never forget who you are. Never bow your head. Speak with dignity, even when others don't." So he forced a small, respectful smile and said, "Sir, I assure you, the drone speaks better English than both of us." The audience erupted in surprised laughter, the good kind. Eli hadn't insulted him. He hadn't snapped. He had simply turned the moment around with class and wit. Trevor froze for a second, clearly not expecting the comeback. "All right then," Trevor said, regaining his fake confidence. "Why don't you show us what this little toy can do?" Eli placed the device on the table. It was small, barely the size of a basketball, but the craftsmanship was impressive. He tapped the control panel, and the drone lit up with a soft blue glow. "This model," Eli explained, "is designed for search and rescue. It uses thermal imaging to detect humans trapped under rubble. It can fly through tight spaces and send real-time data to rescuers." Trevor smirked. "Cute. But can it make coffee? Because I feel like that's the only way this thing is getting used." The audience didn't laugh this time. The vibe had shifted. People were paying attention, not to the host, but to the Filipino kid standing calm and composed beside him. Eli tapped another button. The drone hovered into the air. The cameras zoomed in. The audience gasped. The drone projected a 3D map above the stage, a glowing hologram of the studio building, rendered in perfect detail. The kind of display big tech companies spent millions showcasing. Yet this was built by a student who grew up repairing broken fans and discarded gadgets behind his grandmother's sari-sari store. The studio fell silent. "This hologram," Eli continued, his voice steady, "was created in 3 seconds. In disaster zones, 3 seconds can mean one more survivor." Trevor swallowed hard. His smirk vanished. Eli tapped one more button. The drone zipped upward, stopped midair, and gently lowered itself to the ground in front of Trevor, placing a single rose at his feet. "For you," Eli said casually. "It can't make coffee, but it can pick up objects, or deliver supplies to victims who can't be reached." The audience erupted, this time with applause so loud Trevor physically stepped back. The cameras caught everything, his embarrassment, Eli's brilliance, the shift in power. Trevor tried to salvage his ego. "Well, that's impressive," he stammered. "I wasn't expecting." "It's all right, sir," Eli replied softly. "People underestimate Filipinos all the time. We're used to it. But we don't need perfect accents to change the world. We just need opportunities." The crowd stood up and cheered. A standing ovation. For the Filipino student they had barely heard of an hour earlier. Trevor looked like he wanted to sink through the floor. He'd been humbled, not violently, not angrily, but gracefully by a young man whose talent needed no defense. After the show, clips of the interview spread across TikTok, Facebook, X, everywhere. Hashtags exploded, #respect their accent, #Filipino pride, #Eli Navarro, #Pinoy excellence. Celebrities reposted the video. Engineers praised the invention. Rescue organizations reached out. Invitations poured in from MIT, Stanford, Tokyo Tech, and even NASA. Meanwhile, Trevor faced backlash he never expected. People accused him of xenophobia, arrogance, outdated comedy. He apologized publicly, but nobody was really listening anymore. Eli wasn't interested in the drama. What mattered to him were the emails from strangers, mothers, students, OFWs, kids from Tondo, Davao, Cebu, Iloilo, all saying the same thing. "You made us proud." Weeks later, Eli returned to the Philippines. When he landed at NAA, hundreds of students waited for him with banners that read, "Your accent is your power." His mother hugged him so tightly he could barely breathe. "I told you, anak," she whispered. "Never bow your head." The world finally saw what I always knew. And for the first time since stepping on that stage in Los Angeles, Eli let himself cry, not out of shame, but out of victory. He had walked into a studio prepared to be mocked. He walked out having changed the conversation. And the host who mocked his accent? He didn't just regret it. He became the accidental witness to a global reminder. Never underestimate a Filipino, especially one who came prepared to shine. Weeks after the viral interview, Trevor Lane finally invited Eli back on the show, not as a guest to be mocked, but as a respected innovator. This time, Trevor stood up to greet him before Eli even reached the stage. No jokes. No fake accents. Just genuine respect. "I owe you an apology," Trevor said in front of millions watching. "And I owe the world a reminder that brilliance doesn't come with one kind of voice." Eli smiled politely, but he wasn't there for validation. He was there to announce something bigger. His drone had been adopted by international rescue teams and had already saved 8 more lives across 3 countries. The audience rose to their feet again, louder than the first time. When Eli walked out of the studio, reporters swarmed him, fans cheered his name, and a little Filipino kid tugged on his sleeve and whispered, "Kuya, because of you, I'm not ashamed of my accent anymore." Eli knelt, smiled, and said, "Good. Never hide who you are. The world needs your voice." And just like that, the story came full circle. The host who mocked him had been humbled, the world had been reminded, and a new generation of Filipinos had found courage in the echo of one young inventor's unwavering pride. The Filipino accent wasn't a weakness. It became legend.